Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another review. Doing my last review on because for today my birthday, and when now after I reviewed Godzilla, a favorite one of my favorite films of one of my favorite all-time favorite films, but now I'm gonna review what I wanted to do is reviewing my all-time favorite film. The one my favorite film that I always loved growing up. And I'm reviewing Jurassic Park. Jurassic, because that's part of the reason why I put my made my name here on YouTube called Jurassic Godzilla fan. Part of the name of the title of Jurassic Park and then Godzilla, and I'm a fan of both of them. You know, I'm reviewing my all-time favorite film, Jurassic Park, that I'll always cherish and love forever. Jurassic Park was released of June 11th, 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg. And it was based on the novel written by Michael Crichton, which I did another film which I recently reviewed. Congo, that was based on another one of his novels. And Michael Crichton, I love Michael Crichton as an author. I loved reading the book of Jurassic Park, and I also read the sequel, which is The Lost World. And like I said, I know there's differences in the book though, but it doesn't mean I like the film or the book. I like it both ways. And in Jurassic Park, I watched it a long time ago on the old VHS tape, which I do have. And I have like a bunch of other collections of other Jurassic Park stuff, toys and books and other stuff, But Jurassic Park. Well, maybe this is what, of course, probably if anyone's seen Jurassic Park, probably is why they get interested in dinosaurs. This is why I was saying a long time ago. This is what made me interested in dinosaurs. And Jurassic Park when it came out in the summer, when Jurassic Park came out in the summer of 1993, huge success. A budget of 63 million, and at the time, when it was finished, it made 915. I think it was 915 million worldwide. Number one film of 1993, and at the time it was the highest grossing film until 97. Titanic became the highest grossing film at the time. It made close to $1 billion. It made close to $1 billion at the time. And of course, like last year they re-released it for the 20th anniversary, which I went to see. And with the help of that, it made more money, and then Jurassic Park made over $1 billion with the help of the re-release. It's not made with the additional money that it made when it's 3D re-release, it made $1 billion and 29 million. And things like was it the 13th, 14th, or the 15th? I forget what the position is. That had the highest grossing film of all time. And after the success of Jurassic Park, released two sequels. One that's based on the second novel by Michael Crichton, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, which I really do enjoy, and then Jurassic Park 3. And then after the release of Jurassic Park 3, they've been wanting to make a fourth film for a long time, ever since after the re-release of Jurassic Park, of Jurassic Park 3, and it's been in development hell for a long time, And I was always looking forward to seeing a fourth film, and now they're finally gonna make it, which is gonna be entitled Jurassic World, and it's gonna be re-released. It's gonna be released next year in June 12th, 2015, which is like after 14 years after Jurassic Park 3, and it's been way over a decade, and it makes me concerned because after waiting all this time, that they better make this film good, after waiting when it comes to 2015, it'll be 14 years, So after waiting all that time, all the years, you know, waiting for this fourth film, you know, I sure hope they make it very worth it, you know. Um, but I know getting off subject for a second, but even though talking about Jurassic World, you know, there was a time they were maybe having the original cast come back, you know, Sam Neill, Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, you know. Um, for all the updates, you know, sadly none of those original actors are going to be back to be in the film, which is, to me, that's just very sad because I enjoyed all those characters, you know. Well, at least I thought there was at least one happy thing. At least one of the original cast members from the first film was going to be in. That is B.D. Wong, who played Henry Wu, was the genetic special scientist, head generic scientist of making the dinosaur eggs. You know, even though he has to hit for like for a short appearance in that scene in the egg room, that's it. You know, and now he's gonna make a much more bigger appearance in Jurassic World. Okay, that's a good thing, and bring back an original character from the first film who had like the least amount of screen time, and for that one scene, and he's gonna have a major role, you know. At least that's one thing, you know. Of course, among other cast members with Jurassic World, Chris Pratt, you know, voiced Emmett in the Lego Movie, or appeared in other films, like I think he was in Zero Dark 30, and now he's appearing in the upcoming film Guardians of the Galaxy as Star-Lord, you know. And then also among it was director Ron Howard's daughter. It was Bryce Dallas Howard. The only film I've seen her in was she was played Gwen Stacy in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. And then there's some other cast members, including Vincent D'Onofrio. I think he's gonna play a villain. He always plays a villain, you know. But well, in some films, you know. Well, he was terrible in the Stallone Schwarzenegger film Escape Plan. He was a character that was not needed in the film. But anyway, getting back to Jurassic Park, this is the first film, you know. And so it was a huge box office success, you know, and it got a lot of praise, you know, as in a lot of high ratings, as an 8.0 on IMDb, and it has a 93% Rotten Tomatoes, you know, and it was nominated for a lot of awards, Academy Awards, you know. Well, not a lot of Academy Awards. It was nominated for three Academy Awards, and it won all of them for Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects. Most of it for help because of the dinosaurs, you know, made by Stan Winston and Dennis Murin, who both did great jobs with the dinosaurs. You know, I got nothing but praise for them. You know. It was also nominated for a lot of other awards, like the Saturn Awards, you know, a lot of Saturn Awards, you know, Best Director, Best Science Fiction Film, Best Special Effects, Writing, Best Actress, Costumes, Music, Supporting Actor, 2 Supporting Actors, and 2 Supporting Young Actors, you know. And then, you know, of course, the rise of Universal Studios, you know, which I enjoy, like, wrote a long time ago, and were the right long time ago, and then a few years ago, I wrote it for a second time, you know. I hardly go to Universal Studios, but hopefully one day I can go back there again. But anyway, So the film. Okay, so getting into the film. It starts off with on the island of Isla Nublar, which they're making the park. They're creating one of the dinosaurs, but you know you can't see it, you know, because it's inside the box, you know. But for anyone who's seen the film, of course, you know it's one of the Velociraptors. But when you see it, you see like its eye, you know, or you see like its because through the gaps of the crate, you know. And this they're about to put it in its pen, one of the guys was to raise the gates, and the Velociraptor pushes the crate back on the guy, falls next to the opening of the crate, and he gets pulled in, And the guy who's the head of the entire the game, who's like the game warden, played by Bob Peck, as Muldoon. Robert Muldoon. She's trying to pull the guy out, he's telling him, shoot her, But eventually the guy dies, and then it cuts, to the place of the Dominican Republic. The guy, the lawyer, Gennaro, played by Martin Ferrero. He's me and the Spanish guy telling that the guy, the owner, John Hammond, facing a lawsuit because of the jetpack worker, and he's in they're going to go to the mines, and they have they find one of the most fossilized ember with the mosquito inside, and then gets to us with Sam Neill and Laura Dern as Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, digging dinosaur fossils of a Velociraptor, and I like when the Sam Neill, he's describing about how the Velociraptors are related to birds, like how they can fly, and it's like even the word raptor means bird of prey, and there's this kid that says, that doesn't look very scary, looks like a 6-inch turkey, and like how Sam Neill describes how the Velociraptor does, like scaring the kid, it's like showing like this fossilized of one of the claws of a Velociraptor, like, and he slashes you with this, you're like here, like, or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines out. and Laura Dern is like laughing, and he's like, the kid is looking at that face and like just got creeped out, So then while they're walking away, they're discussing that Dr. Grant, he doesn't. He's like, he doesn't like kids, and he's like, well, they're noisy, they're expensive, they smell. And he's like, they don't smell. Yes, they do. There's some of the smell. Baby smell, Then when the helicopter comes in and like just blowing all the stuff all everywhere, the dust, and he goes inside the trailer, and there's Richard Attenborough as John Hammond. They're telling with Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler, that he's opened up this he owns the island off the coast of Costa Rica. He's opened up this theme park. He wants them to go to be he invites them to go along with him. And they accept, and then it goes to in Costa Rica, where the guy, of course, in the novel there was a rivalry, corporation, because John Hammond, he owns InGen, the corporation that he does, that he owns with the dinosaurs, and then there's another rival business person named Dawson, so he goes to Costa Rica to meet one of the InGen's employees, at Jurassic Park, played by Wayne Knight, as Dennis Nedry, because he wants Dennis Nedry to steal some dinosaur embryos in this shaving cream can, like in a secret, twist it off and pass that stuff to storage, and and Wayne Knight was really funny, but when we see this, it's like, oh, Dawson, and Dawson's like, you shouldn't use my name. Dawson, we got Dawson here. So nobody cares. Nice hat. We trying to look like a secret agent. So he receives his money, getting paid, and he's getting all happy, But he gets half of his payment to do a job, and then half it to get back, with the embryos. Because he's doing this because he feels that he's not getting paid enough to do it as a job, So that's why he's doing it. So then it goes where they're flying Delta Grant, and all the others are flying to Isla Nublar, which that was a funny scene because in the opening of the new Godzilla film, there's that same helicopter that as they're flying as they're flying in Jurassic Park, they're flying over a lot of the forest. And I was like, it makes me think, wait a minute, am I watching Jurassic Park or is this Godzilla? Because they're flying on that same helicopter as they're flying into the island. I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, wait, it makes me think, wait a minute, am I watching Jurassic Park or is this Godzilla? So another it was Gennaro, and then there was Dr. Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum. So they're discussing. Jeff Goldblum was like, chaos. He's like, you ever heard of chaos? Everything's chaos. So they're flying in. And they get the theme for Jurassic Park, which I always loved, by John Williams. John Williams has done pretty much all the scores to Steven Spielberg's films, including some other films like Star Wars and The Silent Adventure and Towering Inferno, But that was one of the best. It's one of the best themes to one of the best themes in cinematic history, in my opinion. Who cannot forget the theme for Jurassic Park? So they arrive. They're driving in the jeeps, and they're driving along, and they stop, and Sam Neill, he has that surprised look on his face. He's like, can't believe what he's seeing, and Dr. Saller sees it, when they're seeing is a live dinosaur, which is a brachiosaurus, They're like, it's a dinosaur, and then Jeff Goldblum was like, you did it, crazy son of a bitch, you did it. So, and you see the brachiosaurus eats some leaves off the trees, that's how it stands up and then falls back and shakes the ground, And then John Hammond said that we have a T-Rex, and Sam Neill was like, oh, he's like it's like a bit too much for him, And then Richard Attenborough says, welcome to Jurassic Park, Sees a bunch of all the other dinosaurs, more Brachiosaurus and some other dinosaurs here where the water is. So he wants to know how this all happened, and he's taken him to the main building. Every once in a while during not once in a while, sometimes a couple of times, Richard Ambrose, John Hammond, he says, spare, like he says something about his park, and he says, spare no expense, top of the line, spare no expense. So as they're sitting in the theater, how they're watching this homemade movie, the film, how it describes how this all happens, because of mosquitoes from a long time ago that gets stuck in this sap that's on a tree, and it gets encased in it, and after a long time that the scientists discover them. They take the blood. They take the blood that's from when they suck blood from dinosaurs, and you get your dinosaur DNA, And they also said that they mixed DNA with a frog, to complete the codes, the generic codes. So they want to get off the ride because they want to see the eggs, So what do they do? And that's where you get B.D. Wong as Henry Wu, as the chief of generics, of the place, Which he only appears in that scene, but that he'll make his reappearance in Jurassic World, which is set 22 years after the first film, So they're looking. They see one egg hatching, which is the baby Velociraptor slowly making its way out of the egg, Which I like, which the effects I have nothing but praise for, It's one of the best looking special effects of its time, Seeing how that baby Velociraptor hatching from its egg, how it comes out of it, And Dr. Wu explaining, how they control their DNA, making all the dinosaurs female, And then Dr. Malcolm says a line, how that life cannot be contained, eventually life will find a way, And then it cuts to where to the Velociraptor pen, and they see a bull being hoisted on a crane, being lowered in to be fed. They're all seeing it, but well, you don't see the attack. You just see a bunch of the plants shaking around, but you hear the sounds of the velociraptors killing it. Robert Muldoon shows up, explain how intelligent are they? What's their speed? Like speed of a they have the speed of a cheetah. Like goes up to 60 miles per hour, which I think that's is in real life. I believe that in real life, that's how fast they ran. They ran about approximately that amount of speed. Really fast. Um, then when they're at the lunch table, discussing how the park is going to be, and they're expressing their opinions, and the lawyer Gennaro, um, he thinks he's fine. He's like he thinks he's fine with the idea how he's like Hammond is like this film was not built just for the super rich. Everyone in the world has a right to enjoy these animals. He's like, sure, we'll have a coupon day or something. But then Dr. Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, he kind of disagrees with what they're doing. And he's like don't you see the danger? What John and Harry and what you're doing? Genetic power is the most awesome force the world's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun. And he's saying that how what this thing this is I think is that's it's completely wrong. How what he's doing, he's doing something that's very dangerous, like that can't be controlled. And so when even Dr. Saller, she agrees. Like gives you the essence that these are extinct reptiles that, or was it these are aggressive living creatures that have no idea what century they're in, and they'll defend themselves violently if necessary. And then Sam Neill speaks and says, that if you see in the trailer, he's saying that dinosaurs and man lived 65 million years of evolution, this suddenly thrown into the mix together, and how could we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect? And well, with Hammond responded back was like, you're meant to come down here and defend me against these characters, and the only person I got on my side is a blood-sucking lawyer. He's like, thank you, And then his grandchildren, Lex and Tim, which Ferrero played Lex is Ariana Richards, who was what was it Mindy from Tremors, the girl was always on the pogo stick listening to the headphones, she was in Tremors, and she's in this, and even reappeared in the third sequel to Tremors, And the other kid, Tim, Joseph Mazzello, which I seen him in. He was also in The River Wild with Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon. Or recently, he appeared in G.I. Joe Retaliation as one of the soldiers, but he gets killed, at the start where Duke dies as well, But so they arrive there, and they get into the tour vehicles, And I always like how I always loved how those vehicles look, how they're painted, and they're electric, running across the track, and they get in the cars, and they're going on for the tour, seeing other dinosaurs, and there's the narrator saying, going to the gate, welcome to Jurassic Park, and Jeff Goldblum's like, what do they got in there, King Kong, As they're going trying to see the first dinosaur called Dilophosaurus, but they don't see it. And back in the central control room, then there's like Samuel Jackson as Ray Arnold. I think on the original book his name was John, though, but they changed it to Ray because I think it was with the character of John Hammond, have two Johns in there, not to be confused. So I think that's the reason his name was originally John, but they changed it to Ray, you know. So Samuel Jackson, he's like also an expert computers, you know, he's controlling, you know, um, the cars, you know. Um, and he has a line because he's a chain smoker, and he always saying, "Hold on to your butts," you know. And I like Samuel Jackson, you know. Um, and that's what I always loved in the film for the longest time is the cast, you know, especially in supporting characters as well, other than the main characters, you know, like Samuel Jackson, Wayne Knight, you know. Um, and then there's Wayne Knight is there, who was is just sitting there, you know, it's like his station's all a complete mess, you know, and and he started talking about, you know, how he's still not getting paid enough, and he's fighting with arguing with John Hammond, you know, it's like I will not get drawn into another financial debate with you, Dennis. I really will not. It's not any debate at all. I don't blame people for their mistakes, but I do ask what they pay for. And he's like, thanks, Dad, you know. So the next where the tour cars are about they're approaching where the Tyrannosaurus Rex is, but they don't see it anyway. And like and then with Jeff Goldblum, he's talking like God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, man creates dinosaurs. And then like Laura Dern is like dinosaurs eat man, woman inherits the earth, and they're both looking at her, and Samuel's like all smiling, you know. They try to would try to make the Rex come out. They send up a goat, you know, try to lure it out to feed it, you know, but it still doesn't show. So as they proceed on, before they well, Richard Attenborough, he's looking on the TV screens, and like Jeff Goldblum does like a close up with the camera inside the vehicle. He's like, now eventually the you might have dinosaurs, you know. It's like, and he's like, hello, hello, yes, you know. And Richard Attenborough is just like this, and he's like, I really hate that man. That was like those lines are always so funny, you know. And Jeff Goldblum, I always thought he was just so funny as well, you know. So as they're moving along, and Samuel he gets out of the car, you know, because he sees something that's out in the field, you know, and the rest follow him out, and they see a sick Triceratops, you know. Really great, well done special effects, you know. Once again, Stan Winston and where's the other person who also does the special effects? Dennis Muren. Really well done special effects. I have nothing but to say. Outstanding looking effects, you know. And I also thought that in the difference in the book, it was supposed to be a sick Stegosaurus, but they changed it to Triceratops because. Well, from what I read, they changed it to a Triceratops because that was Steven Spielberg's favorite dinosaur, so that's why they changed it, you know. Instead of a Stegosaurus, it was a Triceratops. They're like all excited to see this live dinosaur, but it's sick though, and Laura Dern is like is asking why it's sick, you know, and. She says that she wants to see the dinosaurs droppings, and then Jeff Goldblum approaches like this huge pile of a dinosaur pooping, and he's staring at us like that is one big pile of shit. So Laura Dern is like digging into it, and it says there is no trace of this type of berries, but suffering from an unknown condition, I think, you know, every 6 weeks, you know, and Jeff Goldblum's like, you make sure to wash your hands before you eat anything. But then they're keen to leave because there's this big hurricane storm approaching, and so except for they leave Sailor stays behind, you know, but as the rest proceed on, you know, and then back in the control room, Dennis, you know, he decides to he's saying he wants to go to the vending machines, but still he's programmed the computer to turn off all the cameras and the power around the park, you know, including the fences, you know. So he's going into the lab and takes each different dinosaur type embryo, you know, to put him in the shaving can, you know. Um, so all the powers, including the vehicles, they've stopped as well, which they have stopped right in front of the T-Rex pen, Um, so then the back of the control room, they're wondering the three of them are wondering what's going on, all the powers are shutting off, and as they're going to desk Samuel Jackson, I was like, well, he's like, look at this workstation, what a complete slob, It's like, I always like how he says it, what a complete slob. So they can't turn the power back on as he's trying to do it. There's this image like of Nedry, his head like an Elvis suit, and he's like appearing, is like, you didn't say the magic word, and Samuel's just like, please, god damn it, hate this hacker crap, So they try, but even the phones don't work as well. So back at where the T-Rex pen is, where the vehicle stopped, they're just sitting there waiting, and Tim, he's finding some night vision goggles, and then they hear the loud footsteps approaching, and then you get that famous scene where he's looking at the cups of water, the water's vibrating, which are reading up, there was like these loud or there was these loud guitar strings, that's underneath it, making a vibe really loud, causing the water to move, So there's one of the, I also consider one of the most famous scenes of all time, was seeing the water just move, boom, boom, So Tim was looking at where the goat is, it's gone, and then as Lex is asking where's the goat, is a piece of a goat leg goes flying on top of the car, and they're shocked to see it, and then the T-Rex comes up eating the rest of the goat, and then the lawyer Martin Ferrero, he gets scared, goes and leaves the kids and hides and runs to the bathroom, and Samuel and Jeff Goldblum are stuff from inside. He's like, where do they think he's going? And Jeff is like, you gotta go, they're seeing the wires being pulled apart, and then the T-Rex comes out and gives like the famous roar, Samuel's telling him to keep absolutely still because they can't see when they're holding still. So, and as they're seeing from behind that Lex is using the flashlight, and he's saying, turn the light off, and it's attracting the T-Rex. Even Tim's telling her to turn the light off. Which she's seen it once, but she still keeps the light on. It shines right in the T-Rex's eye. And breaks from the rooftop, and they're Lexington, holding the glass up from in the inside, and then the T-Rex flips the car over, it's just crushing on from like stamping his foot on top of crushing the car, and Sam Neill gets one flare to get his attention. Jeff Goldblum tries to do the same, but he still keeps on going, and as towards the bathroom, and the bathroom gets destroyed, and Malcolm he gets like covered up all the whatever the stuff is, the building structure, I guess, and Donald Gennaro, he's just looking, and the T-Rex looking at him back, and then the T-Rex just picks him up. It just grabs him, but he doesn't eat him. Just picks him up and just shakes him around, because later when Muldoon and Dr. Sadler, they say, I think this was Gennaro, and she says, I think this was too. So he's been bitten in half, but thrown to another one spot to a different spot. So he didn't get eaten. He just got. Well, you indicate that he got torn in half though, but two parts just got thrown to a different side, So, as Sam Neill, he gets Lex out, and she screams, but he's like, don't move. Can't say if you don't move, and flips the car, turns the car around, and I know that everybody talks about this one scene because everyone says the one big mistake, which I do say, So which I do notice, you know, because like how when the T-Rex first gets out of the pen, it's all flat ground, but when Samuel and Lex are standing right where it is, all of a sudden it gets turned into a cliff, you know. I know a lot of people complain about that scene. I know, even to this day, as much as I've seen this film a million times, I always has, you know, how can that from that comes flat to a flat ground until all of a sudden turns into a cliff, you know. Otherwise, what did the T-Rex just fly or bounce or just jump up to that part, you know, to get out of the fence, you know? I know that's one of the most obvious movie mistakes, you know, but what can you do about it, you know? So yeah, so as they're climbing down off the cliff, you know, on one of the wires and as the T-Rex is pushing the car, you know, and Tim is still inside it, and the car falls off and lands in one of the trees, you know. So while that is going on, Dennis Nedry he takes one jeep and he's trying to get to the boat in time, you know. Which by the time it's left already, you know, I think it's too late. He's probably stuck over there, you know. Which that's how Harry Wu, you know, he saved and ends up being the sequel because he left the boat, you know. So he's driving, you know, like how he's trying to get there, like how he runs into the sign, like he's dealing with a sign that flips, you know, like moving where the arrow is, like if he gets angry, he just spins around like, you know. But Larry shows him he's still driving. He was like, should have been there by now. And like he doesn't see where he's going. Like he turns and he misses a sign and he just gets his car stuck where this waterfall is, you know. And he sees where the road is. He tries to one of those grappling hooks, you know, that you pull in. I think how what that was called. I think I'll just say grappling hook, you know. He tries to wrap around a tree, you know, and then use the thing to make his car get pulled forward to go down the hill, you know. And he ends up slipping, you know, and loses glasses, and he still picks up where he tries to wrap around the tree, and is like, you can do it. Come on, Dennis, you know. And he hears a noise, you know, and which is the Dilophosaurus, which he didn't see, you know, when they passed the first time, they didn't see, you know. And he sees it's like, that's nice. Gotta go, you know. And he sees it, he's like, oh, nice boy, nice dinosaur, you know. And he's like, thought you were one of your big brothers. You're not so bad. What do you want? You want food? Look at me. I just fell down. I'm soaking wet. I don't have any food, you know. And he's like, that picks up a stick and wants to play fetch with it. He's like, the stick, stupid. Fetch your stick, you know. It's like, yeah, no wonder you're extinct. I'm gonna run you over when I come back down, you know. And the Dilophosaurus is like looking at him like this, you know. But then he approaches him, gets close to him, and then get that what is it? It's frill. I guess you say frill or gill, or whatever. How it's part of its neck, you know. So it just starts screeching at him and starts spitting this black goo stuff, or it's venom, you know. And then the next one just sprays him right in the freaking face, you know, and it's like Paralyzed, like you know, knocks his head and he hits it. He gets knocked down, and then he loses the can, you know. But then he gets into the car. The Dilophosaurus is in there with them, and attacks him. You know, it attacks him. You see the outside, the shot of the car, but you see it if it's blurry on the inside, so you see the inside it's attacking him, you know. And the shaving cream is covered in mud. Which I know the novel is very different in how Dennis Nedry dies, you know, like he does get sprayed, he does get the venom in his eyes, you know, but instead of being attacked the car, he's still outside, and he feels that the Dilophosaurus has cut his stomach open, and all of his, you know, his insides start spilling out, and that's how he dies, you know. So that's how he died in the book, you know. You know, and there was also a funny thing, like a while back, you know, on the development of Jurassic World. He said that Wade Knight said that he wanted to come back, you know, but he wanted to come back as the same character, saying that he did not die. But come on, even though that would have been cool to see, though. But logically, he's dead. Dennis Nedry is dead. You know, there's no way he can come back. You know, Although, yeah, but maybe we'll see another original actor come back like him, though. But logically, impossible. He's dead, and so can't do that now. So Sam Neill, Dr. Grant, he climbs up to the climbs to the tree where the car is stuck, and to get Tim out. The car starts coming down. That was another great intense scene. It's like you're racing as the car starts coming down as you know. But they get safely down, and as the car flips back on the ground, and they're still inside, He's like, and Tim's like, well, we're back in the car again, and Dr. Grant's like, well, at least you're out of the tree, And then that's where you get Dr. Sadler and Muldoon. They looking for them, and that was where I mentioned, that they find the two different parts of Gennaro, But they find Dr. Malcolm, but he has a broken leg, and he's like, they put him in the Jeep, but they find where the other car is, but they're not there. Then more of the footsteps, and Malcolm is like, we gotta get out of here, and they're getting chased by the they get chased by the T-Rex, in which Jeff Goldblum says the famous one of the famous lines in the film, "Must go faster," which is also funny in Independence Day, which is all in Independence Day, where he's driving the spaceship with Will Smith, and as they're trying to escape from the mothership, as the gate is closing, he still says the same line. He goes, "Must go faster, So yeah, so that's what I was funny when he says that in Independence Day. So he says that in Jurassic Park, So as they're being chased by the T-Rex, so they manage to outrun it. So Sam Neill and the two kids, they climb up a tree. They see some Brachiosauruses, and Dr. Grant gets attention by making a sound like it, He pulls out his one of his Raptor club, and he just throws away, And Richard Attenborough, he's like in the dining room eating some ice cream because they're melting, the power's off. So, and Dr. Saller is talking to him, saying that he never had control of this place from the beginning, and then when it's in the morning, Dr. Grant is sleeping with the kids, and a Brachiosaurus comes up to them, eats some of the leaves, Pardon me. They want a pet, and the Lex tries to pet, hoping that the Brachiosaurus sneezes on her, and Tim's like, "God bless you," So later they're walking. Dr. Grant sees some dinosaur eggs, that they're breeding. He tells them that it was all because of amphibian DNA. Because certain frogs, has like the ability to change different genders, to male to female, So give me a second. It made me lose my train of thought here. Sorry about that. So anyway, that's where I was. Back in the control room, there's Hammond is discussing that he wants to shut down the entire system to restart everything. Samuel Jackson, he says he doesn't want to, but he eventually he does do that. He says once again, you're shutting down all of the power, and he says again, hold on to your butts. But as they flip the switch back on, the lights don't go on, but on the computer it says system is ready. So he says he'll go back to he'll go to the maintenance shed to restart everything. And then that's the last you see of Samuel Jackson. Walking that way, but of course later, if you know the film, you know how it turns out, So as next we'll cut over to Dr. Grant and the two kids. They see some long neck dinosaurs called Gallimimus, a herd of them running. And so as they're running, they hide behind this log, and they see the T-Rex coming, and it grabs one of them, eats one of them, And Dr. Grant's like, just look how it eats, but you'll never look at birds the same way again, So the next word, the rest of the people, they're waiting in the emergency bunker. They're waiting, But so Dr. Sadler decides to go, and Robert Muldoon gets one of the shotguns, So as they're approaching the raptor pen, they see that they've torn through the fence, because of the shutdown, and now they're running loose. Laura Dern decides to make a run for the shed, while Bob Peck, he decides to thinks he's got the he knows that they're being hunted, and he decides to take him out, while she makes a run for it. And she's being told through the walkie-talkie to go in which direction, to get to the controls, And while it's happening, Dr. Grant and the two kids, they get to the electric fence, the power's been turned off, and like how Sam Neill goes to fools with the place with the kids, pretend to get electrified, and he goes and smiles at him, it's like that's not funny. That was great, But then they hear the T-Rex roar again, so they decide to go hurry up and climb up over the fence, And Laura Dern, they get to the main controls as they're flipping the power back on, to destigmatize the fences. And as Dr. Grant and Lex, they make their way down, and Tim is stuck up there, and he doesn't want to jump all the way down. So, before he starts to count to 3, then he'll jump down. But then it's too late. The power's been turned off, and he's been electrified. I thought that was like, ooh, that's like an uncomfortable feeling. How to just get electrified when you're just not knowing when the power's been turned off back on, and just like this, and he's not breathing, so he's giving him Samuel is giving him CPR, which he starts breathing again, But then the power's been turned on, then Laura Dern gets attacked by one of the velociraptors, and then you hear Mr. Samuel Jackson's severed arm. He dies off screen, Which it was different in the novel, of course. Like how he I think it was trying to fight the raptors. What I think it was a shoe, or was it a piece of pipe, But then he dies he dies, but not like that, But he tries to fight him up, but then eventually dies in a different way. But here you just see him get killed off screen. Just has a severed arm. And that was it, But she gets out of there, and Bob Peck, he sees one of the raptors. He's prepared to shoot, but then another raptor comes up from this angle here, and he says, "Clever girl," and then that he gets attacked. And you don't see because there's this plant that's blocking it. That way, for not seeing a grueling death scene, So that's why they put this plant is blocking where he's getting eaten, So the rest of them. So Sam Neill makes it to the main building, leaves the two kids in the dining room as there's this whole buffet, it's just sitting there, all the food, So and then as they're sitting there eating, they see a shadow of a velociraptor, and there's when you get one of the most famous scenes in the entire film where it's just the two of them in the kitchen, and the two velociraptors, are in there, One of the most tense scenes, if a lot of people would say, where the two kids are in the kitchen, trying to escape from the velociraptors. I always enjoy that scene, how they're trying to make their escape, So, but they meet with Sam Neill and Laura Dern. They head to the control room. So now that they're trying to get the power back, to secure all the doors, And while that, Laura Dern and Samuel are trying to hold up one raptor, trying to get through the door, which now they can open doors, Which the earlier Laura Dern said, yes, unless they figure out how to open doors. When it cuts to the back of the kitchen, the velociraptor opens the door, opens it, This is they can open doors, and they're trying. This one raptor is trying to get through. Well, Laura Dern and Samuel are trying to hold it back, from getting in. And Lex, she's now trying to get the system online because how Tim's like somebody that teases her like for being like a computer. You're a computer nerd. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm a hacker. You know. um. So they're able to get the power. They get they secure the doors. You know, the phones are working. Tells Samuel calls Richard Attenborough, tell him to send the damn helicopters. You know, and they hear Hammond hears gunfire. They're shooting from the where you know the glass where the from the view where you're seeing from the theater is, you know. So they climb up the ladder up into the ceiling. And where Lex is while Lex is crawling, the one of the raptors pops up underneath from her, and like how Samuel kicks kicking the raptor in the face, you know, and she almost falls down, and which actually, you know, that's not really as they see it, as they're trying to pull Lex back up, that girl that wasn't really Ariana Richards, you know, but they just digitally added her face you know, to this other girl that's playing like a stunt double, you know. To make it try to fool us think that's really her, but it's really a stunt double, you know. So, but they just digitally added her face on there. So it's again to the main hallway where all where the bones, where the fossils are, you know. They're getting on to one fossil, and it becomes a part that everyone's trying to hang on, you know. But then all stuff falls down, and then they're both surrounded by one raptor on either side, you know. And this one, I think it was like the lead raptor was the bigger and the smarter one, goes for the attack, and then one of the best scene in the entire film is when the T-Rex jumps in and saves them both by killing both the raptors as they get out of there, and then throws the last raptor against the T-Rex falls and gives one last big roar, you know, as the banner goes down as there was roaring, the banner goes down where it says, you know, the day when dinosaurs walked the earth, you know. Gives it one last big roar, you know. And as they get off in the helicopters, you know, they're all exhausted and tired, you know. And as they're boarding the helicopter, you know, John Hammond takes one last look, you know, because if you feel kind of sorry for him, because, you know, this was his whole life's work, and he's just sad they has to leave it all behind, you know. And he's just looking at his cane that had the handle had the mosquito inside, you know. And then like Sam Neill is like looking at the two kids are sleeping on either side of him, looking at him, you know. And then he's looking outside. There's some pelicans just flying by, you know, thinking, you know, that when he said that dinosaurs were able to learn to fly, you know. And then that ends with a credit once again, the theme by John Williams, you know. I always love this one. This is why I consider this my all-time favorite film, and I always consider it as my all-time favorite film. I always love this film. I always love this film from until the day I die, you know. But totally awesome film in every which way, you know. It always would consider one of the most classic films of all time. One of the most classic films of all time, and one of the best science fiction films ever made, you know, or dinosaur films, you know. And will also be when this 1993 was also where the year where there was a few dinosaur films came out, including this film. Before Jurassic Park came out, a month before, there was that film Carnosaur, you know, which is another different dinosaur that was based on a novel, you know. And that didn't do well. That film got a lot of hate, but long time ago when I did my review of Carnosaur, the first Carnosaur film, I do like the film, you know. You check out on that review, you know. And also then later, you know, there was all the two dinosaur films. There was the animated film We're Back, a dinosaur story that was also that Steven Spielberg was the executive producer on that film. Voiced by John Goodman as Rex. There was also another dinosaur film called Prehysteria. Prehysteria is where the kid that was from Last Action Hero, you know, that kid was in this film. Him and his family they're taking care of these miniature dinosaurs, you know, a miniature of a T-Rex, you know, and Triceratops, you know, etc. You know, or they name it after famous singers, like he names the Tyrannosaurus Elvis, you know. So that was another film that was released in 1993, you know, dinosaur films. Like 4 dinosaur films, you know, Carnosaur, Jurassic Park, Prehistory, and we're back at Dinosaur Story, you know. Uh, and so this film was over 2 hours. Goes at a fast pace, you know. Um, from the novel, also Michael Crichton also had a hand in the screenplay as well, you know. Which was good. I like how pretty much I don't think the same thing. I don't think I have any problems with it, you know. The cast was great. Great directing by Steven Spielberg. Screenplay by Michael Crichton and David Cope. You know, Stan Winston and Dennis Muren as for the special effects of the dinosaurs, outstanding. You know. Like those nitpicks, like those mistakes. You know, like I said, how where the T-Rex pen it was all flat ground, but then it turns into a cliff. You know, which a lot of people are complaining about. You know, about that mistake. You know, yeah. For special features, it says over 60 minutes of bonus features. You know, has direct hot link on the set of Jurassic Park 3, the making of Jurassic Park, early pre-production meetings, storyboards, production, photographs, design sketches, and animatics, so like the Raptors, Phil Tippett Animatics, I think that was what the name's called, from the Raptors in the Kitchen. The trailers for all three of the films, Dinosaur Encyclopedia, and also during one of the featurettes. You never watched one of the featurettes? James Earl Jones makes an appearance in one of the featurettes talking about the dinosaurs and the film and stuff. You know. Always love the score. You know, I have the scores for all three of these films. You know, the soundtracks and scores for all three of these films. So, because it's one of the best movie scores ever. You know, especially it's been made by John Williams. Deserves to win for like the sound mixing, editing, and special effects. You know, win the 3 Academy Awards. And I'm glad the film has now made over $1 billion with the help of the 3D re-release, you know. And what a better way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Jurassic Park by making the film over $1 billion, you know, with the 3D re-release, you know. Which always made me happy, you know, because I always love this film and I always give the respect that the film is now made over $1 billion, you know. And then even though the film got the praise, these two got mixed reviews from critics, you know. But still, despite all that, they were both successes, box office successes, though. I always enjoyed and loved these two sequels, and hopefully I will, after waiting nearly 14. Well, when it gets to 2015, it will be 14 years. So, waiting 14 years for another sequel, they better do it right and make this one right, you know. Or otherwise it'll be me wasted all these years, you know, just waiting, looking forward to it, you know. I'll be really disappointed. I'll be really disappointed, especially for a fan of these, you know. Which I will be reviewing these, you know. Still, like Steven Spielberg has returned to direct The Lost World, which originally Joe Johnston wanted to direct the sequel, but it says he'll be directing this one. But there's a third one to be made. You will direct that one, you know. So. And I know, like I said, I explained some of the differences from the novel to this film, you know. But if anyone has read the book, you know, you'll know the differences. I enjoyed the book, you know. I have always enjoyed the sequel, The Lost World, the book, you know. Michael Crichton, may he rest in peace, you know. He was a great writer, you know. And I always enjoy some of the films that he's directed. He directed Westworld. I enjoyed. I love Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons. You know. he was also good, capable. And I think he also directed a film that was based on his own book as well, called it was called The Great Train Robbery, that was starred Donald Sutherland and Sean Connery, But anyway, so that's my review for Jurassic Park, my all-time favorite film, and it always will be, and I always cherish it forever. Got the small poster. I got a much bigger poster though, but I just wanted to see make more room for a different poster, so that's why I chose with a small one to hang up there. So, and like I said, I also have a lot of different stuff. A good collection of different things of Jurassic Park. Toys, books. Among other stuff. So, so that's my review for Jurassic Park. Want to say great cast. I'm just repeating myself. Great cast, score, directing, screenplay, special effects. I would say everything. I don't think I can hardly see a I don't think I can hardly see a problem with it, other than like those nitpicks, those mistakes. Like I said before, but with the T-Rex and his pen. But So that's all. I don't know what I say. So that's my review for Jurassic Park, my all-time favorite film, and I will next hopefully I'll get to these, the sequels, which I'll look forward to reviewing. If anyone has not seen this film, I don't know where have this. Not to sound mean or anything, but saying where have you been? Where have you not bothered just watching this classic film of all time, one of the most classic films of all time? Well, if you haven't read the book, that's understandable, because it's a long novel, which it took me quite a while to finish the first book, So, but I'll also say, if anyone has ever seen Jurassic Park, just check it out for yourself, Really great classic film of all time, you'll definitely get a kick out of it for anyone who hasn't seen it though. But I'm pretty sure 95% of 95% of the population has seen this film, I'm just giving an estimate, probably, because it's now 2014, halfway through 2014, and you watching the film like this, that's from 1993, So, but like I said, just give it a whirl, and hopefully those few people who have seen the film, hopefully they enjoy it, Really worth your time, Over 2 hours, it'll be worth your time, Like I said, same thing with Godzilla. I can watch this 10 times over and over again. I'll never get bored of it. So yeah, this is my thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my review of my all-time favorite movie, and I'll happily do the sequel. So thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for the next review, and hopefully I hope that this will be good for enjoying for my birthday. So once again, happy birthday to me. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for the next review. Later.